Please welcome John Nicklow, President of the University of New Orleans.
Thank you all and good evening. As President of the University of New Orleans, I am so pleased to welcome you to our city and to the APLU annual meeting. I think instead of trying to summon my own inner poet, I'm going to simply borrow the words of Bob Dylan, who said, "There are a lot of places I like, but I like New Orleans better." As someone who did not grow up here and has lived around the country, I must say that I tend to agree with Bob. There are 7 four-year universities in New Orleans and some very fine institutions, but the University of New Orleans is the only public research university. Our university turns 60 years old this year, and compared to many of your institutions, that is relatively young. But in spite of our youth, we play a vital role in the economy, the culture, and the social fabric of this community. Before the university was founded in 1958, New Orleans was the biggest city in America without a public university. And at that point in time, you can imagine if you wanted to go to college in the city, you either had to attend a private school, or if you could not afford a private school education and couldn't afford to leave home to go to another public, you simply didn't go to college. And that is why the University of New Orleans over the past 6 decades is credited for having built the middle class of New Orleans. Our institution shares many of the same characteristics as the city that we call home. We are both determined, tolerant, we're accepting of challenges, and we see opportunity where others see obstacles. I hope you'll be able to experience just a little bit of what our city has to offer. As I'm sure you're aware, New Orleans has its own distinctive food, music, architecture, history, art, and even a little attitude. Not only do we have accents, we even have our own language. If you know what I mean when I say I ate a fully dressed po' boy on the neutral ground during Lundi Gras, consider yourself bilingual. New Orleans really is a culturally vibrant destination. The University of New Orleans, including our faculty, staff, students, and alumni, is proud to create and chronicle in this inspiring environment. So my advice during your stay here, try something new. Order a dish that they don't serve in El Paso. Listen to some live music that you can't hear in East Lansing. And stroll down a block of houses that you can't find in Boulder. The learning that you do here in New Orleans doesn't have to be restricted to this ballroom and the meeting rooms of the hotel. There's an amazing city right outside that's ready to be explored. We are so glad to have you in New Orleans. I hope you all have a wonderful conference and a great visit. Please come back again and see us soon. And at this point, it is my pleasure to introduce the president of APLU, Peter McPherson.
Well, thank you so very much for that wonderful welcome. We have here tonight 1,500 and more people, the largest APLU national meeting we've ever had. We thank the host institutions, University of New Orleans, LSU, Louisiana Tech, University of Louisiana Fayetteville, and Southern. Thank you for all you do here. It's good to be in this city. Today is Veterans Day. The official holiday is tomorrow, but today is Veterans Day. We appreciate the sacrifices that these men and women have made for us, for our country. We appreciate the opportunity that we've been given to educate so many veterans in our schools. And it's wonderful to see the leadership that these veterans are beginning to are taking in our country. Look at all the vets, men and women that ran for Congress this time. And you're seeing that throughout society. I expect this role will only grow. It's also worth remembering that this is the 100th anniversary of Armistice Day, the day in which World War I was concluded. This war was perhaps the war of most consequences because of what happened after, as well as what happened in the war, of any war in history. It's worth remembering the sacrifices, the losses of that war, and to ponder the lessons that that war has given the world. APLU is stronger, more active than ever. We are because of the activity, engagement of our members. There's no question we would not be able to do what we do in Washington without the very active role of you as you talk to your congressmen, senators, and your engagement. There's no question we wouldn't be able to have the array of projects and activities that we do without all of your actually doing what you do. You look at the new NSF huge grant on faculty diversity. We'll be talking more about the degree completion work, and so much else. Thank you for making APLU what it is. It's now my real pleasure to introduce Bob Corrett, the Chancellor of the University of Maryland System, and who is also the chair this year of the APLU board. Let me just say, I've been the beneficiary and have deeply appreciated the wise counsel, ready access, and help that Bob has given me this year. Bob?